hear the words ancient text, you'd probably think of something dusty and, let's be honest, maybe a little irrelevant. But the Bhagavad Gita, it's something else entirely. It's less a scripture and more like a 3,000-year-old user's manual for making life's most impossible choices. So today, we're going to unpack its core dilemma and the incredible wisdom it offers for navigating our own modern lives.
Okay, I want you to really imagine this for a second. What if your job, your absolute duty, was to go into battle against your own family? You're a soldier, sworn to do the right thing. You get to the battlefield, look across, and you see your cousins, your mentors, your friends. This isn't just some hypothetical question. It's the exact gut-wrenching crisis that kicks off the entire conversation in the Gita. The whole scene is set on the brink of this massive, legendary war in ancient India. It's called the Kurukshetra War, and it's a huge part of the epic called the Mahabharata. And the stakes, well, they could not be higher. We're talking about the rightful claim to an entire kingdom, and two sides of the very same family are about to tear each other apart.
So let's break down who's on which side. On one side, you've got the Pandavas. They're the 5 sons who are the lawful heirs to the kingdom, basically the good guys. And on the other side, they're 100 cousins, the Kauravas, who've pretty much stolen the throne. Now, the Pandavas did not want this war, but the Kauravas refused every attempt at peace, making this conflict not only inevitable, but, in a way, righteous. A truly tragic situation.
So let's zoom in on our main character, Arjuna. He is the Pandavas' greatest warrior. I mean, this guy is a legend. He's ready to fight for justice. But then he looks across the field, and the reality of what he's about to do hits him like a physical blow. Those aren't just the enemy. They're his people. And his duty as a warrior is suddenly in a head-on collision with his love for his family.
And he just breaks completely right there on the chariot. He drops his famous bow, his spirit just shatters, and he slumps down, totally overwhelmed by grief. He says, "I will not fight." And it's right here, in this moment of total despair, that the door opens for the Gita's real teachings to begin. His personal crisis is about to become a universal lesson for all of us. And this is where this ancient story suddenly feels very, very modern. Because Arjuna's problem is one we all face, right? How do you act when every single choice in front of you feels wrong? When your professional duty clashes with your personal heart? Or when you're stuck between a rock and a hard place? What do you do then? Well, luckily for Arjuna, he isn't alone. His charioteer, his guide, is Lord Krishna. And Krishna is about to shift from being a driver to a divine teacher. He doesn't just give Arjuna a simple pep talk. Oh no. He starts to completely reframe Arjuna's understanding of life, death, duty, everything. Krishna's first lesson is a total mind-bender. He basically tells Arjuna, you're grieving for the wrong thing. He explains that the physical body, yeah, it's temporary. It's born, it lives, it dies. But the spirit, the true self inside, that's eternal. It was never born, and it can never, ever die. It can't be touched, even when the body is gone. So think of it this way. Krishna draws a line. On one side, there's the body. It's temporary, it perishes, it's always changing, from childhood to old age. On the other side is the spirit. It's eternal, indestructible, and it never changes. Arjuna's whole crisis comes from confusing the temporary shell with the permanent true self. So, the key takeaway here is this. Krishna isn't giving Arjuna a free pass to become a ruthless killer. Not at all. He's telling him to perform his righteous duty as a warrior, but to do it for a higher spiritual purpose, without getting emotionally caught up in what happens to the perishable bodies. The real fight isn't out there. It's a spiritual one. This whole idea leads us to one of the most famous concepts from the Gita, karma yoga. Now, it's often mistaken for just doing good deeds, but it's way more specific than that. It's the path of selfless action. It means doing your work, whatever it is, to the absolute best of your ability, without letting your ego get tangled up in the results, in success or failure. Okay, so how does that actually work? Krishna lays it out pretty clearly. First, you have to accept that you only have control over your own actions, your duty. That's it. Second, you have zero control over the results. None. So third, the results, the fruits of your work, shouldn't be why you're doing it in the first place, which leads to the final step. Just do your duty and completely abandon your attachment to the outcome. And here's the beautiful payoff. When you stop chaining your happiness to the unpredictable results of your actions,
you free yourself from a huge amount of stress and anxiety. You can act with total clarity and purpose and find this deep inner peace, no matter what happens on the outside. This is the ultimate solution to Arjuna's agony.
Now, karma yoga was the perfect answer for Arjuna, a man of action. But the Gita is brilliant because it recognizes that we're all different. So it outlines several paths to the same goal. There's Bhakti Yoga, the path of devotion, Jnana Yoga, the path of knowledge, and Dhyana Yoga, the path of meditation. It's a whole spiritual toolkit, not a one-size-fits-all rulebook.
But in the end, all of these paths lead to the exact same destination. If you had to boil the Gita down to one core message, it would be this: the purpose of our life is to cut through all the confusion and illusion of the world around us and to realize our true, essential, eternal nature.
And that brings it all right back here to you. The Gita might start on a literal battlefield, but its real wisdom is for the metaphorical battlefields we all face every single day, in our jobs, in our relationships, inside our own minds. So the question the Gita leaves us with is this: what is the righteous war that you're facing in your own life? What's that difficult but necessary duty that's calling to you? And how can you face it with clarity and purpose?